Hey guys, it's CT, that's me. I want to talk to you today about being a seller, okay? I've been having a lot of conversations with both sellers of mine who are on the market right now in New York City and sellers who are thinking about being on the market, sellers who have already moved and need to sell, and people who don't need to sell right away but want to sell, okay? And so the first thing I want to tell you is if you don't need to sell, don't put your house on the market right now, okay? That's crazy because the market doesn't exist as we know it. Showings are not allowed. Open houses are not allowed. There are, virtual showings, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's buying your place based on a virtual showing, okay? Especially nobody's buying your $5 million place based on a virtual showing. So that is a waste of time. And what's more important is that you waste all the energy and attention and enthusiasm that people have for new listings when it first comes on the market. All throughout the country, this is real estate agent canon everywhere in the country, probably everywhere in the world, where in the first month, there is a huge bump in traffic, web traffic and attention and showings and to the listing. And after that first month that a new listing is on the market, the attention really trails off. So the first few weeks really is when you have the best chance of having multiple offers on a property that drive up the price. And you're just getting offers in the market like this, just the chance of getting an offer in general, the best chance of that is in the first couple of weeks. Why is that, CT? Well, the reason is because there's always a bunch of serious buyers who are looking in your market, in your price range for what you have, and they've seen everything else that is on the market, and then they are waiting for your place to come on. And they see your place come on and they're like, oh, I want to go see that. And I want to go see it right away before anybody else sees it because nothing else I've seen do I want, but this looks interesting. And that's why part of the reason you see that, and also part of the reason why some of the best offers you're going to get as a seller come in the first month and in the first few weeks, because the most serious buyers are typically already on top of any new listing that comes on that meets their criteria. So if you put your place on the market now, you're ensuring that there's no chance that those people are going to see your place because they can't see your place right now, okay? So don't put your place on the market right now if you don't have to. Wait a few weeks or a month or whatever it is until showings are allowed again, open houses are allowed again, and that there's actually a chance of you transacting because those virtual showings are not going to sell your place, okay? That's if you are a seller and you don't have to sell right away but want to. If somebody's advising you to put it on the market to get attention or whatever, find somebody else to help you sell that place. Sorry, agents who think that that's a good idea. It's not. The next is, what if you are on the market, okay? If you're on the market already, what do you do? So this is a tough question, and I really have been paying attention to this because I have several listings on the market right now, and I've been trying to give my best advice to people. And my advice has been to stay on the market if you're on the market now. And the reason that is the case is because I have seen, and I've been working with the folks at Corcoran to study the web traffic over the last few weeks, and there has been a spike in web traffic on the Corcoran website for listings over the past, since the beginning of March, basically. Now, what's interesting is that I've also been studying and following the web traffic on StreetEasy over the past few weeks, and the StreetEasy traffic is down over the same period. Now, the interesting thing is that StreetEasy has lost a lot of its listings because big companies like Corcoran, Compass, Halstead, Brown Harris Stevens are no longer actually automatically sending their listings to StreetEasy because of all this stuff. They're charging for listings by the day and all this stuff. So is the StreetEasy's traffic down partially because of the fact that they've been losing listings? This is a good question. I don't know the answer. But there is some conflicting information, which is the important part of this, in terms of the amount of web traffic. But one thing I can tell you, whether the web traffic is up or whether the web traffic is down, is that it's not translating into showings. it's not translating into contracts, and it's not translating into closings. There's going to be a big gap for those things for as long as we are essentially shut down as an industry. So if you are on the market, because at least on Corcoran, because I am seeing spikes in the web traffic of people looking at it, I'm telling my sellers to stay on the market right now in the hopes that people really are kind of, like trying to create a list and of properties they want to see when this is all over. I don't know whether that's going to happen, but it seems with the access of any clear signal that this is either good or bad as far as being on the market, for the moment, I'm telling people to stay, okay? I may have people come off the market before things get lifted for at least a little while so that it shows up as, it dings people's inboxes for searches that things are back on the market after this is over, but we'll get to that in a few weeks. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about with sellers is I've been talking to some folks who have already moved and are already living somewhere else and need to sell their place. Now, in this case, it's a little trickier, right? Because people may have issues with carrying two places at the same time. My first piece of advice to those folks is that you should try and maybe consider renting your place or putting it up for rent and having it for sale at the same time. Okay. Now, the thing is, if you can't afford to do that and you have to sell, then I would say try and wait a little longer so that we get closer to the end of this lockdown in New York, and then put it on. So if you have to list it, if you have to sell it right away, then you got to list it, and you got to list it at a low price to get people interested. In previous updates, I've been explaining that we have been seeing 5 to 10% reductions in contract price or contracts that are being negotiated. So that's sort of like a take on the market. We've also seen developers who have been faced with 20%, asks for 15 or 20% drops in order to go into market, and they've said no because they think that is too much. We've already seen a reduction, downward pressure on pricing in New York City over the past year or two. So another 15 to 20% is not realistic. This is also something that was echoed by Howard Lorber, the chairman of and owner of Douglas Elliman, in a talk yesterday with Pam Lehman. And he said that, these are not realistic numbers. This seems to make sense to me as well, and just what I'm seeing on the ground. So a 5% reduction you might get away with right now, maybe 10%. But when you start going to 15 and 20% reductions, like I don't see sellers really accepting that, particularly sellers who don't have to sell right away. Okay. So that's it. That's what I got for you. I'm going to do another video and talk about being a buyer right now. I think there's a lot of opportunity here actually for buyers with historically low rates, and some properties that are already good deals. And then I'm also going to talk about renters, but that'll be for the next one. This has been a long one. So take care, stay safe, stay healthy, stay distanced, and I will talk to you later.